Ciao everyone, it's Alyssa coming at you with another slow fashion video. It has been a minute since I filmed, in fact since last year, so I hope you had a wonderful and restful holiday season and end of year. Thank you so much for coming back and joining. If you are new, welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by. I talk about slow fashion and being a conscious consumer while still staying stylish, so if that sounds like your jam, hit subscribe. And if you are coming back, thank you so much for coming back and for your patience as I took a little bit of a break. Now I am ready to fully embrace the new year, and I don't think there's a better way to do that than by going through a really solid declutter of your closet. So today I'm going to be sharing some of my thoughts and tips around how to declutter mindfully and with intention, and finally some of the pieces that I will actually be letting go of and why. So grab your tea. I always feel like this kind of thing takes a while, but who knows? Anyway, grab your tea, let's jump on in. One of the most important things I think about decluttering is understand why are you decluttering in the first place. My personal philosophy around decluttering is that I never want it to become a safety for overconsumption or making careless or mindless purchase decisions for my closet. Although I think this could be applied to anywhere in the home. In fact, less than 20% of what we donate to thrift stores or what we sell to consignment stores actually gets sold. The rest of it gets shipped to other countries in the world, and then they have to deal with all our stuff. So we're not doing any favors to the environments or our wallets for that matter when we just randomly declutter stuff and don't make an effort to make smart purchases in the first place. So when I do add something to my closet, it has to be a really intentional purchase that I know I'm going to wear and love for years and years to come. However, I totally get it. Our lifestyles change, our personal styles change, which is my main reason for doing a bit of a deeper dive declutter today. And our body types can change as well. So I get that editing your closet is a must. So what I find makes it easier to declutter more mindfully is by editing my closet on a regular basis. But the ease of constant editing comes from actually spending time in your closet and with your clothes. There are two ways that you can really do this. And the first is by taking time to plan your outfits, and the second is by regularly shopping your closet. The more you do this, the more you realize what gaps you have and what items you're actually not wearing. With all of that being said, you might be wondering why I'm even doing this video then, because it's really about a more intense closet edit. But to be completely honest, I think I might have at some point crossed a line of keeping things just for the sake of it. For the sake of saying that I was really able to squeeze as much life out of these clothes as possible, even though they don't really match my personal style anymore or work with my lifestyle. So a lot of these items were given to me from friends or family who know I love vintage and secondhand clothing. I used to have a really hard time saying no, and a lot of these pieces were gifts or items left from a shoot when I worked as a stylist. So I need to let these pieces go, which is probably why you'll see a bunch of unfamiliar items on my Poshmark, in addition to some of the ones you're familiar with, which are the ones I'm going to talk about later in the video. If I'm doing more of an intense declutter like today and not some of my more regular editing, then there are a couple of steps I take. And the first is I just make sure all of my clothes are actually clean and mended. If you've got time, I would recommend counting all of the items in your closet. And you can do this itemized, whether it's all your sweaters, all your coats, that kind of thing, and your footwear too. I actually did two videos, one where I count my shoes and one where I count everything else in my closet. And this was another factor that made me realize that it was probably time to do a pretty intense closet declutter. So those were eye-opening for me, but I know they take a lot of time. You know, do them if you have time and if you're like really gung-ho and nerdy about all this. The next step though, I think is probably the most important, especially if you're decluttering or editing your closet with the goal of understanding your personal style better. Because I don't really see the point of decluttering your closet or going through this intense process if you're not going to get some sort of like feedback or benefit. So what I do next is I take all of my well-loved and well-worn clothing out and I put it aside, preferably on a rack, so that you can get like a pretty solid picture of it. So these are all of the items that fall in my seasonal uniform categories, like things that I know I love and wear all the time, that fit me. Like, these are your tried and true pieces. So now that you've separated these, you've got two things. Number one, you've got a pretty great picture of what you love and why, and I'll get to that in a second. And the second thing you've done is made the whole process a little bit easier because you've just eliminated a good chunk of your closet. So now you've got this incredible picture that has tons of clues as to your personal style, or that will be able to lead you in the right direction of what you love and why. Some of those little clues are easy to spot, like whether you prefer separates or one pieces. Clearly, I am a separates gal, but you can also look for things like what fabrics and textures you prefer, or what kind of silhouettes make you feel really great, or the ones that you lean on all the time, and especially what colors you feel best in. And on the flip side, you can also see what gaps or redundancies you have in your closet. Now that you've done that, you can tackle the rest of your closet. And I do this by going through one item at a time. Depending on how big your closet is, you might want to break it up into chunks. And I only try on the pieces that I am really unsure of. You can also take this time to actually try the piece on and see if it does work with other items in your closet. I like to separate the rest of my closet into items that I need to alter, in items that I will donate, in items that I will sell or consign. And then finally, I have a pile of maybes. If I don't wear them for the next season, 3 to 6 months, for example, I know it's really time for them to go. Moment of truth. What is it that I actually decluttered after all of that? The first item is a 8 or 9-year-old 100% silk blouse that I thrifted for about $7.99. I bought it when I was still working in finance. To be honest, I remember when I purchased it just thinking, oh my god, it's 100% silk and it's under $10. So yeah, I'm gonna buy it. The fit was fine, the color was great. I get a lot of compliments when I wear it on the channel. But what I realized is that the bunching and the ruching detail in the front was really bothering me. I love to tuck my blouses in, and all that extra material made it a little bit uncomfortable. And finally, after doing that little assessment of all of the items that I really love to wear, I noticed that the blouse that I really love is a full button down, and it has that kind of pajama style lapel. I think the neckline works really well on me. I like that little bit of extra detail. So I let go of this blouse. In fact, I already sold it on Poshmark, so yay. The next item is actually one that I recently featured in a video. I'll link it up here if you're interested. Is my very cute made in Canada sequined shift dress. Really cute. It's got pockets, it's fully lined. This is honestly a wonderful garment to have. The silhouette is definitely on point. It had the nice structure and shorter hem that I like. But the sequins, the sparkle, while it looks good on, I realized that I don't love loud or super embellished items, especially up around my face. I don't know if it's because my personality is already a lot, like I think maybe the clothes just add on and it's just too much. Who knows? But my mom actually loves this dress and it fits her really beautifully. So luckily it's not going far. I've had that dress for about 6 years now, so it did get worn. It did get a lot of love. Goodbye, beautiful pink dress. You're truly lovely. In a similar vein, I'm letting go of my secondhand yellow turtleneck. This is actually quite a recent purchase. I only had it for about maybe a year and a half, 2 years. It's a Club Monaco 100% merino wool. I have the exact same one in black, but I think because of the high turtleneck, it was again too much brightness around my face, and it was actually featured in my video about decluttering my maybes, which I will link up here for you. And I had decided to keep it at the time, but it's been a couple months and I didn't really wear it, or every time I did put it on, I just didn't feel like wearing it, so that's a pretty telling sign. That's another one actually that went to my mom because she loves color and she loves those thin turtlenecks. Next up are these really adorable and beautifully made loafers. They are a metallic, they're made in Spain, super comfortable. I just felt a little bit frumpy every time I put them on. I have plenty of shoes, and I actually purchased some flats secondhand in the summer, which I absolutely love. So being able to identify those elements of style in my new flats really helped me to understand why I feel a little bit more frumpy in these. I'm also letting go of a couple of other pairs of shoes, and I have 1 or 2 heels in my maybe pile as well. Next are 2 raffia or straw purses, both of which I bought in Sicily, so it's a bit emotional because they are souvenirs and reminders of that trip. However, I never really use them. Even though the beautiful crescent-shaped bag, it has really great solid structure, which is something that I've realized I like and want to always have in one of my outfits, just not my style. I rarely use clutches anymore. And the second bag, which is more of a tote, has not enough structure. It's very loose and bohemian feeling, and I think instead what I would like to do is find a medium-sized bag that I can wear all summer long that has a little bit more function to it. Oof, next, this one's a tough one. My vintage leopard print coat. I absolutely still want to have a leopard print coat in my closet. However, this one is oversized. And in addition to being oversized though, the silhouette also doesn't have a lot of structure. And if you can't tell by now, structure and crisp lines are things that I really feel comfortable in. And that was something that I identified when I went through all of the items that I truly love and wear all the time. So I have, much like shoes, an abundance of coats. I don't need to wait to replace this coat in order to let it go. Finally, I'm also including these khakis, which are probably the youngest item in my closet, if that's how you want to term it. I think they're about 2 years old, or maybe 1.5. They were given to me as part of an old collaboration, and I had chosen them. They looked awesome. I wanted this exact pair, but somehow, I don't know how, because I haven't lost any weight or changed size, but they are quite loose now. There's a solid 1.5 to 2 inches around my waist and around the seat and hip area that it just doesn't look like they fit properly. And when I took them to my seamstress, the amount of money that it would cost to get the entire, crotch and waist seam to realign with the new measurements, it just didn't make sense. So sadly, letting go of these as well. So there you have it. That is today's decluttering. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned something new or if you liked it, give this video a thumbs up or hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below if you have any decluttering tips and if you would like to see some of the new items that I've added in my closet since then. It's not like a giant haul or anything, but I did make some changes, which I'm actually, you know what, no, I'm gonna share them. I'm so excited. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you in the next slow fashion video. Ciao!